Let's reflect real quick from the first video. Question 1. Do you think you can use the formula volume equals base times height to find the volume of any right prism? Explain your answer. Again, pause the video, think about it. If you already know it, great. If you don't, think about it a little bit more. Solve this problem. When you're ready to check your answer, just unpause and you'll see the answer. And again, do you think you can use the formula volume equals base times height to find the volume of any right prism? And obviously the answer is yes. No matter what the base looks like, you can think of the area of the base as the number of cubes in one layer and the height as the number of layers. Think about that. Let's read the problem below, then explore how to calculate volume using the formula for the volume of right prism. A packing carton in the shape of a triangular prism is shown in the diagram below, right here. What is the volume of this carton? Think about that. If you think you can already solve it, great. But we're going to do it step by step. Let's start off with model it. You can use words to describe the prism. The base of this prism is a triangle. The base of the triangle measures 2 inches. Can you guys see that? This is the base because there's 2 of them, right? Boom, boom, parallel, all right? Excuse me. Okay, there's 2 of them. They're, this is parallel to this, parallel to this, okay, parallel to that. All right, excellent. And the base of the triangle again measures 2 inches. There it is, measures 2 inches. That means this is 2 inches as well. Think about the base, and then we can see the height. The height drawn to the base, they give it to you here, which is 1.5 inch, 1.5 inches. The height of the whole prism is 7 inches. Pretend like this whole prism is being stood up, straight up, right? So the height is 7.7 inches. The height of the triangle is 1.5 inches, and the base is 2 inches. Let's solve it. You can use the formula again. Volume equals base times height to find the volume of the carton. You know the height of the prism. You need to find the area of the base shown below. And I love what they did here. They took out the base. Okay, this is the base, and they redraw that. You should do that all the time. Take out the base and redraw that with the dimensions given. Base 2 inches, height 1.5 inches. There it is. Base 2 inches, height 1.5 inches. And now, find the area of this triangle. Remember, the area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 times base times height, right? And I'll leave that up there for you. You can use a reference sheet at all times with formulas. So you don't need to remember these formulas. Let's connect it. I'm going to ask you to solve these 6 questions. Then again, pause the video. And then you can check your answers after you solve the 6 questions. Question 2. Look at model it. How do you know which faces of the cartons are the bases? We kind of broke it down, but let's see if you can answer that again. Question 3. Describe the shapes of the other faces. Question 4. Which of the dimensions of the other faces do you use to find the volume of the prism? And please explain. Question 5. What is the area of the base of the carton? Show your work. And I gave you the formula. Question 6. What is the volume of the carton? Please show your work. And question 7. How can you find the volume of any triangular prism? Again, pause the video. See if you can solve these. And once you finish solving them, unpause the video, and then you can check your answers. Now let's look at the answers. Question 2. How do you know which faces of the cartons are the bases? Well, the bases are the same size and shape and parallel to each other, just like we talked about. Question 3. Describe the shapes of the other faces. Well, all the other faces are rectangle. if you can see this right here. Okay, this is a rectangle. Oops, sorry, it's not a straight line. Let's try that again. Again, not a straight line, but a rectangle. As you can see, it's opposites a rectangle. And then the base, if you can see that, that's also a rectangle. Question 4. Which of the dimensions of the other faces do you use to find the volume of the prism? And explain. Well, obviously the height of the prism is 7 inches. It's the length of one side of a rectangular face. So let's look at that. Okay, there it is. That's the height, right? Okay. Question 5. What is the area of the base of the carton? Show your work. So they took the formula, the one I gave you. Base equals 1/2 times base times height, right? 1/2 times base times height. And let's do this out right here so you guys can see it and then can compare their answer. 1/2 times base. I'm going to put it in parentheses so I don't get confused, times the height, which is 1.5 inches. Okay. 2 times 1.5 is 3. And 3 times 1/2 will give us 1.5. So the area of this triangle is 1.5 inches squared. Okay. See what they did? Again, so base times height, they plugged it in. They also used parentheses, which is great. And then they did the math, and you get 1.5 square inches. When they say show your work, the work should be like that, step by step by step. Okay? Or the way they did it. Step, formula, plug it in, solve it. So the question is now, what is the volume of the carton? Well, now that we have the area of the base, right? Volume is base times height. Remember, the base for this triangular prism is a triangle. So you got to find the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 times base times height, which we know it's 1.5, and then you multiply by the height. And 1.5 times 7 will give us 10.5 cubic inches. Question 7. How can you find the volume of any triangular prism? Well, you multiply the area of the base of the prism by the height of the prism. And we talked about that. That's why the B is uppercase letter. You have to find the area of the base and then times the height. Uppercase letter, right? Because there's different bases. In this case, it's a triangle. Now we're going to ask you to try it. Apply what you just learned about finding volume of the following problem. Show your work on a separate sheet of paper. Question 8. The volume of the right triangular prism shown below is 178.75 cubic feet. Write and solve an equation to find the value of x. So now they're asking you to find this value. Okay? Take your time, pause the video, and then when you solved it and showed all your work, unpause the video to check your answer. Okay. So first off, they're going to show you step by step, and then we'll break it off. So right now, we know that volume, I'll teach this first before I give you the answer. It's base times height. Notice I used uppercase. What's the basis for this prism? Triangle, right? Triangular prism. So let's plug in the information that's given. They give us the volume. The volume, they give it to us. So now instead of V, we're going to put 178.75. Base, it's 1/2 times base times height for a triangle, right? Times the height. So let's see what they give us again. So 178.75 equals 1/2 times the base. We don't know what the base is. See, that's x. We don't know what the base is. Instead of b, I'm going to put x. That's what we're looking for, times the height. And the height is 6.5 feet. And then the height of the whole prism is 11 feet. So times 11, right? Times 11. So this is now an equation. We know how to solve equation, either flowcharts or the traditional way. So first let's simplify this expression, equation. And then, let me draw this for a sec. Close up, parentheses, right? And then let's find the value of x. Okay, so 1/2 times 6.5 times 11 will give us 35.75 x, right? Because we're still looking for x, equals 178.75. And now the inverse operation of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide by 35.75 on one side of the equation, and I have to do the same thing to the other side of the equation. Okay, this equals 1, and 178.75 divided by 35.75 will equal 5. So x, in this case, will be 5 feet. Do not forget the units. So x here will be 5 feet, which makes sense. Okay, and then to check your work, I would do 5 times 6.7, 5 times 6.5 times a half to find the area of the triangle, times 11 will give us 178.75. Let's see what they did. So immediately they wrote the half times base times height for the triangle times the whole height, right? We wrote it out. They didn't. And then they did the math. It equals 178.75. So 1/2 times 6.5 times 11 is 35.75. We're left with x. And then you divide on both sides and you get x equals 5. Again, if you're stuck, you can always go back and replay this video.